Hi folks, and welcome to my thoughts on a comic. And today's comic is TROLLORDS issue 5 by True Studios. Alright, let's start what we usually do. Alright, so this was written and illustrated by Scott Bradsterd and Paul, Paul Fricke. I have no idea how you pronounce that. Oh well, as usually, all this will be down below in the description. Alright, so this is actually the second TROLLORDS comics I've ever read. The first one was, wow, months ago actually, when I just started reading comics. I was still struggling back then to read. So this seems to be, I'm not sure if what number, not that I'm not sure, I don't remember what number that issue was. This is 5, I really can't remember what was the number of that one. If happens before that issue or after. But anyway, from what I understand, so we have these 3 trolls. This is Harry, this is Larry, and this is Jerry. Harry usually seems to wear hats. Well, he has a very distinct personality, so even without the hat, you know who he is. So there are 3 trolls who seem to have to be escaping from an enemy. I'm not exactly sure from the little bits of the first issue I have of them I read, that's what I gathered. And they have a human friend named Kelly who seems to help them to to get somewhere or to achieve a mission. Again, I'm not sure. In the last one, they were in a cave for the night, and Kelly went there to help them. She brought food and stuff. And then next day, they drove away. I think they were also in a funeral. So that's about it. I really love this. First of all, the art is black and white, already a plus. And these guys are just so cute. I mean, look at them. They're adorable. Right. So anyway, in this story, Kelly and the boys arrive in this inn, who's famous for ghost stories. So they arrive there. All of them are disguised as one man, as Kelly's father, just for the night, so they can stay there. They go into the inn, and apparently in this inn lived a poet that Kelly really loved, Lenore. I, I don't remember the last name. Devonport, I think. Lenore Devonport, if I remember correctly. I'm shit with names. So Lenore Devonport and her grandniece, anyway, she's related to the lady that owns the inn. So they go there. Kelly settles the guys in the room, and she goes on a tour. They see the house and the picture of Lenore, and we find out that when she was a young woman, her fiance died tragically, and after that she isolated herself and spent the rest of her life in the mansion just writing poetry, and she died there. Now that's about. And then some kid who's a bit of a dick tries to go into one room that is closed and they can't open it. And his dad, who's a bigger dick, and you see where the kid gets it, demands that they go in because he paid for the tour. But the innkeeper tells them that they can't open it, and it was even in Lenore's will not to open that room. So anyway, they all go back to the rooms. There's this one guy who claims to be able to talk to the spirits. I don't even remember his name. A bit of a twat. Anyway, Kelly goes back to her room. She probably told the guys what has been. And now it's night. None of the guys can sleep. They hear noises. Larry wakes up first, and wakes up Harry and tells him I can't sleep. He says, "Sleep? I can't sleep either." There's this noise, and then they turn, and Harry says, "Yeah, it's Kelly snoring." How could someone with such a loud, small mouth produce such noise? Harry. But Larry tells them, no, it's not that. It's something about this house. I gotta say, I love the dynamic between the guys and Kelly. Reminds me a lot of April O'Neil and the Ninja Turtles. And actually, Harry's a lot like Raphael. Larry's a lot like Donatello, and Jerry's a lot like Michelangelo. Hey, seriously, it's so similar. Fuck, we're just missing Michelangelo. Not Michelangelo, Leonardo. We're just missing a Leonardo, and it would be a set. I mean, really. Now, a lot of that dynamic, well, Raph is not always the most pleasant turtle. And Harry's not, he's not a bad guy, it's just really, rough and stuff. But yeah, it really reminds me of them. So, right, back to the story. So the boys go search the house with a candle, and Larry feels that where this thing he feels come from is from the locked room that we previously saw. So they go there and they try to open the doors. But as they try to open the doors, they hear screaming. They hear Kelly scream, and then they go. Harry tells them to forget the door. Fuck it, let's go help Kelly. And then they're like Nightcrawler. They just jump. There's a kind of a bump, and then they reappear in the room, which is really cool. I didn't know they could do that. Right, so they appear. Kelly's the bed she's sleeping on is flying. I forgot to say that they all slept in this really big bed. So the bed is flying, and so they jump on it. They try to make it go down, but it doesn't. They tell Kelly that she has to jump. She doesn't want to. Harry tells her, "Don't worry, just jump. I'll catch you." And he does, just not very gracefully. She falls on him, and so. Right, she falls, they get up, and they say, well, we have to get out of here. But then I think they look outside the door or the window, and they see that the other guests at the inn are all running towards the door. Things are going nuts. Furniture is flying, books, everything. Everyone's scared. And then the guy that claims he can talk to spirits comes. Don't worry, I'll come talk to the spirits, and he gets a book in the face. That was funny. I like that. But then they're okay. We have to do something. So then Larry says, "Well, we need to go back to that room. I think that will, stop this whole thing." So the boys go back to that room. They open it and they enter a cemetery. On one tombstone, you see Lenore's name. There's tombstones everywhere. Things are coming out. Hands. I loved it. The show's a bit more creepy, but it'll do. Right, things are, and then I think Larry sees something that freaks him out. He didn't fully understand it. Anyway, they start yelling, "It can't be real! It can't be real!" And then boom, it all disappears, and they're in an attic. I forgot to say that was an attic room. And then they're like, "What the hell just happened?" And then there's nothing there, but then the next instant, Lenore appears. She's sitting at her desk. She's a ghost. She's a ghost of an old woman. She's sitting there. She's writing. And then Larry approaches her and tells her, "Come on, Lenore. It's time to leave." And then she smiles and says yes. And so she gets up. While she gets up, Larry goes and opens the curtains. And then we see her transform back into a young 20-year-old woman. And then she disappears. And as soon as she does, the house goes back to normal. Things are calming down. Then that mystical twat runs up and I'll save the day. Then he sees the guy's in just face. Oh well. So then that's it. They fixed the issue. Lenore has gone, and that is the end of the story. Also, across the comic, there's a few poems that Lenore wrote, and in the end, there's a her full poem. I think there's bits of one poem, and then there's her entire poem of how her fiance was called into a war, and he died there. And as soon as he died, she fell dead inside herself, and so she didn't really live. She just dragged herself on till she was 81, I think. Very tragic, but it's okay now. They're together, so that's nice. Then yeah, that's about it. It's a pretty nice story. I also enjoyed the last one. Alright, so the art. I love this cover, it looks really cool. I wish it was just as creepy in the comic, but it's not really really creepy. Well, at least not by my standards. And then again, I'm into some wacky shit. Alright, let's go to the art. Cover is awesome. So the art is nice, I really like it. I also love the black and white. I don't know what obsession I have with black and white comics, but I do. That's Kelly and her. You see, they're disguised. That's the innkeeper's husband. There they are, taking off their. Ah, right, I forgot. Shit. So this is issue 5, but this is something in the woodwork. Oh well, screw it. I'll just add it in the title. Alright, so this is something in the woodwork. I really wish they wrote that up front. You see, Harry smacking Jerry there. He's a bit of a dick. Lenore's like, don't hit him, just because he has emotions. But Harry also has them, they're just buried. So that's Lenore as a young woman. That's the dick kid. That's his dad. And that's the mystical twat guy. They see there's, Kelly's sleeping, the boys can't sleep, so they go snooping around. There, they reach that room, and just as they're about to open it, oh, Lenore's photo also falls. They hear Kelly yelling. See, they're running to her rescue. I look at that. I do love the troll's design. Also, Kelly's. And I got hit. That's the creepy scene. See? Not creepy by my standards, though. Oh, look, this is really cool. So that's Lenore as an old woman. And this is when you see he opens the curtains and then she begins to look young again and then she disappears. Which is amazing. And there we go. And here we have Lenore's poem in full. That's the inn. And then we have some info. Some more artwork. And then there's like a mini comic here in the back as well. It looks like a ripoff of Donald Duck. Oh, that's the one for issue 6. I take it probably came out in Christmas. Alright, folks, so that is it. This is really nice and cute. Would be interesting to find more. Should actually really look up if there's a trade paperback. Alright, so I'll say it now. So this is TROLLORDS, Something in the Woodwork, issue 5. I need to write that down. Alright, folks, so that is it. Till next time, beware of haunted inns. Bye.